What's black, charred, and can be found on a farm? Apparently, pieces of a rocket. At first, everyone thought we've got the plot of Chicken Little on our hands, and it's an alien object. But soon, we found out it was a Musk rocket that landed near some unsuspecting Australian sheep. So, in this video, we'll talk about the SpaceX debris found on the Australian farm and what this means for our future. First off, from landing among stars to crashing back, the business has been booming since the first rocket went into space. We started with space exploration, but pretty soon wandered into commercialization and all sorts of mind-blowing tech. But we humans leave litter everywhere, and why would space be an exception? The more our satellites populate it, the more space junk it leaves to fall. That's what happened with the SpaceX Dragon rocket. Now, Elon Musk's rockets, they're remarkable because they can land back on Earth. Previously, we just used to let them wander in space after retiring them. See what we mean by polluting? This crash debris was a trunk part belonging to a spacecraft that brought 4 astronauts home from the ISS. Hear this. That mission ended back in May 2021. Usually, the trunk detaches from the rocket and ends up as junk. But sometimes, the poor fellow finds its way back home, surviving the atmospheric burns and landing in a sheep barricade, and not as a whole in a flurry of debris. Moving on, the remains of a dragon. We found 3 pieces so far, all on different properties. First, Jock Wallace found one, and a few days later, his neighbor had quite a fright. The pointy black object on his farm looked crazy similar to Thanos' invading vessels. The sheep herder would have thought an alien would come out charging at him, but nah, it was a rocket alright, just an artificial one. Rocket hunters may have a golden opportunity because experts say there may be many more in the area. But hold your horses, NASA has advised that you shouldn't handle it alone. Too hot to handle? Not really. They just fire up when they're landing back, and they quickly become cold again like they were in the big void. It's just better that an expert retrieves it safely. Australians can call a hotline if they stumble upon more. So far, SpaceX hasn't been there for a cleanup. Anywho, thankfully NASA and SpaceX are in it together, and they're in contact with the Australian Space Agency. What's more, the Kangaroo Land has a great Australian government space re-entry debris plan, so they're the only reasonable adults right now. Following with, aren't SpaceX rockets the next revolutionary step? But hey, weren't Musk's rockets a game changer? They can land back, saving billions on spacecraft. The only problem is the mess they leave behind. The tech whiz has no plans in motion to ever collect its garbage. In fact, no one does. They just leave it as it is, and until an accident happens, everyone shuts their eyes. That's not all. Even the ones that do land back, you should at least get them. You wouldn't want your technology to be found by others. But nope, there has been no attempt to recover the rocket trunks or leftover booster parts. The reason given by the company is that they burn upon re-entry. Hear this. Scientists are calling it a miracle that such big pieces survived. Now, who would spend some pretty pennies to gather leftovers? No one does that, and that's an original horror story. Up next, space debris is gonna be a big issue. Shockingly, debris falling on us isn't all that new. Normally, they catch fire above us or end up in an ocean grave, but they do crash back, and such incidents are only increasing. The Australian one is just the latest in a list of many. Back in the 80s, a nuclear-powered Russian satellite crashed in Canada. Later, China's Long March 5B rocket fell back to Earth. Last year, some more debris hit a Washington farm. Do these farms have some sort of space magnet? Then another Chinese of the same model fell. And just before we had this Australian one, the 3rd time a Chinese rocket blasted over the Philippines on its way back. It's a bloody miracle that no human has been hurt till now, because research is worrying us. One told us that there's now a 6 to 10% chance that space junk may thunk us, leaving us dead. What's more, if it's hitting buildings now, the uncontrollable landing may hit a plane. Can you imagine the devastation then? Your no casualty number would jump up to hundreds in one hit. And hear this. In space, the debris can act as dominoes. The fancy term for it is the Kessler syndrome. Basically, it means one small junk can hit a bigger one and a bigger one, and the next thing you know, a whole satellite would be dropping upon us. Man, we're sitting ducks here. And now, here's what can be done about it. A Wakanda-like energy shield would be ideal, but that's too far-fetched. Thankfully, concerns are rising, and with them come potential solutions. First, hear this. The European Space Agency says we can't predict uncontrollable junk re-entry because of certain factors like atmospheric density. Some folks are suggesting controlling the entry. Easy peasy. This can be done by the stored energy a retired rocket piece has. The aerospace engineers can design a mechanism to use this leftover energy and safely guide the parts back. Or you could just whip out a design that doesn't leave parts behind. Typically, rocket boosters detach and wander the nothingness. What's more, make some plans for a space cleanup mission. Too much junk can can be unsafe for the satellites up there. And hear this, some countries may militarize this. Want to take an enemy spy satellite out? Leave some space debris in its path. Man, that's some scary mad scientist ploy. You know the sad part? Space exploration was supposed to be beautiful. We were to learn marvelous things, but the space debris issue spoils discoveries. We just hope the space authorities realize this and develop responsible plans and guidelines. In other space-related news, it's not just Earth dealing with the debris. Leaving debris on Earth wasn't enough. We're doing it on Mars too. The Mars Explorer Perseverance recently captured an image of its landing site. On February 18, 2021, this rover made a successful touchdown, which was another leap for mankind. It used many things to reduce its super speed, like parachutes, sky cranes, heat shields, and back shells. When they did their required job, they were discarded as debris. Did you know Perseverance has a helicopter too? Yep, Ingenuity got up close and personal with the landing site and captured a bird's eye view. We can see our neighboring planet's stunning, sparkling sands littered with pieces of space junk. You may even compare it to a junkyard or a ruined settlement. Haven't even settled on Mars, and we're already creating ruins. Now, we're not downplaying the achievement of NASA's Perseverance. It's been gathering pretty crucial data, even the debris. Scientists are studying it to learn about Martian atmospheric effects. But the concern is ever present. We've left all sorts of junk on the moon, and the Martian ones would be left as it is too. Some people believe that leaving junk can disturb missions or the planet itself. Yes, as of now, landing on Mars and learning about it is a priority. But researchers gotta be mindful of the space junk effects on the red planet. Next up, China's secretive plans to beat SpaceX's reusable rockets. After Elon Musk's rockets, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin has also made significant progress, but it's China's hush-hush mission that might change the game. Sources reveal China has recently sent an experimental, highly classified spacecraft to space. It'll operate in orbit for some time and then return to our planet. The mission, as we said, highly classified, but that doesn't stop speculations. Apparently, it's a space plane, and the Chinese already did an earlier test flight in 2020. It may be pretty close to the US Air Force's X-37B space plane. But hold up, the best part may be that it can land and take off at any airport. Yep, an ordinary flight with the destination listed as space. Isn't that incredible? Currently, SpaceX works on rocket recycling. These Asian space planes may be the space transportation revolution we've been waiting for. And, ending on a hilarious note, it's a sun, it's a star, it's a sausage. Finally, let's make your day by telling a crazy story that's been making rounds on the internet. Remember the James Webb Telescope that sent some gorgeous first few images? A few days back, a French scientist posted a photo taken by the telescope. He claimed it's the next closest star in our hood, Proxima Centauri. People went gaga in the comments until a fellow pointed out it's not the said star. A debate began, and now the scientist, Etienne Klein, has come forward with an apology. Turns out, it's a close-up of a sliced chorizo, a Spanish sausage. It was just Klein's prank. While many were amused, some people felt hurt. Folks said we're already in an age where misinformation creates terrible problems. Case in point, COVID vaccines. This sort of scientist joke won't cut it. Come on, Etienne, you gotta joke responsibly too. And that's a wrap. Share your views about the space junk attack on the Australian farm. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe to our channel for more space news. See you in the next one.